Welcome to Chapter 3 of Exercise Leadership 2. See if it'll get going where we need it to go. All right, so we're going to talk about the 4 stages of the client-trainer relationship: rapport, investigation, planning, action, characteristics of positive client-trainer experiences, importance of verbal and nonverbal communication, and the components of effective listening and goal setting, which is SMART goals. All right, so good personal trainers are going to have excellent communication and teaching techniques while working closely with their clients to understand their concerns, formulate health and fitness goals, design effective fitness programs, and teach exercise skills. So what does that mean? It means, one, you've got to be personable. You got to be able to talk with them. And the biggest thing is not only talking with them, but listening, hearing them, and being able to communicate what they want and what they're going for and how you can help them to address their needs and their wants. Okay. So you've got to help them figure out what their goals are, how to design their programs, and then teach, right? So that's the big thing: teach. All right. So again, things that'll help with that is to have a good facility that's nice and clean. You got good equipment, or again, it's good to have uniforms and things at your gyms. I know some gyms don't really operate that way, and I understand like some of the CrossFit gyms, like, you know, they may or may not. The coaches will wear like sometimes they get the gym t-shirts on or things. It's a good idea to do that, so when people are looking for someone to ask questions to, they know who to go to, right? So whether you have like name tags or you just have, like gym apparel that like only the workers wear, things like that. Again, wear professional attire. It's and professional attire in ours is a little different. Sometimes managers and stuff may be in shirt and tie or nice dresses, things like that. Sometimes the trainers wear polos and like khakis or things. Sometimes the trainers are in t-shirts and shorts. It really doesn't matter as long as people can identify who's who and who to ask questions to. Okay. Again, personal trainers appearance is fit, neat, and clean. All right. Trainers should be in good shape. Now, that doesn't mean you got to be ripped out of your mind type of thing, but you need to be working out and you need to look like you work out. Okay. Again, it's part of the nature of our profession, right? That you practice what you preach. If you don't, that's not going to help you be a good trainer. Why listen to somebody? It's frustrating when you go to your doctor and your doctor's like, oh yeah, you got these health problems, you need to stop smoking and eat better, right? And then you were leaving the doctor's office and you drive around and you're at the back, you see your doctor out there eating junk food and smoking a cigarette. It's a little frustrating, right? And again, as a personal trainer, you need to practice what you preach. Again, don't look disheveled. Make sure you're clean. Don't be all nasty and sweaty when you're. I get like you may go from like you kind of work out with each one of the person you're running and doing stuff, but if you get to a point you've had like 4 clients in a row and you're just drenched, you may want to get cleaned up and have an extra pair of clothes and stuff, right? Be friendly. I don't even know why that's on there. That's kind of a no duh. And be interested in the client, right? Don't be like, oh, it's you. Thanks for coming. Come on, let's go. Each person needs to be treated with the kind of welcoming like a kid has for like their parent that they love when they come home. Almost, like, oh, hey, how are you doing? It's good to see you again. That type of thing, right? I mean, you want them to feel special every time they're there. Be warm, positive, again, kind of no duh, and always make positive first impressions, right? So again, this is sort of like dating, right? Always make a good first impression when you first meet them. The client should feel that they're confident in what you know and what you're doing and that you can help them. Clients should feel like they should be able to express their concerns, right? That you're not going to cut them short. Listen carefully, understand what they're saying. Be genuinely interested. It doesn't the clients believe that you're generally interested is what they say, but if you're generally interested, they're going to believe it. So be genuinely interested. Unconditional positive regard. Now that one's a little bit tricky because, you know, sometimes it's like anything else, you know, there's certain clients you're going to have some, you know, and again, if you have the right rapport with them, sometimes you can say like, you know, you can get onto them a little bit, right? And sometimes they need it, but again, you know, read the room, know when you should and should not do that, right? Maintain confidentiality. Don't, you know, again, a lot of times you're going to hear some stuff from your clients that, you know, it's almost like therapy sessions for them. Don't be going around telling everybody that. Make sure your instructions are clear, explained, and always demonstrate anything. Make sure, like, you know, if you're telling them like this, how the body works and stuff, get them to like repeat it back so they understand, you know, so on and so forth, right? So if it'll go to the next slide. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Gotta load this computer. I even had to shut down a lot of programs just to try to get this to go. All right, let's make sure we're on the right thing. Now, hopefully this is the next page. We'll see what it does. Okay. So there's 4 stages of your client-trainer relationship. So the first one's rapport. All right, so you got to build a trust, build a relationship, in all honesty. I mean, this really, it's like, you know, you got to sit down with them and make sure you guys jive, you guys get along, that you can help them, that they want to work with you, you want to work with them, all those things. Again, remember, not every client is right for you as a trainer, not every trainer is right for every client. And being able to point them in the right directions to the right client is just as important as anything else. And again, I know people don't like to give away money, but you being the wrong trainer for the wrong client can have them out there bad mouthing you as a trainer, which is going to take money out of your pocket because potential people might not want to come train with you, right? So understand that it's like dating, you know, like you don't just pick somebody and date them. I mean, you're going to be in this relationship with them for a while trying to help them. So make sure that you're on the same page, that these are the type of clients you like to work with on like their goals and things like that. And that you have enough rapport that you feel like, you know, like you have a good understanding of each other. And that's what you'll get when you interview them in the first before you start training them. All right. Review clients' health and fitness data, their test results, medical clearance. Make sure everything is ready to go before you go. Okay. So again, you need to know their goals. You need to know why they're in there, and you need to know that they can start, you know, or if they can't, why and when, you know, or if there's things you have to work around, what are those things? When you plan, design the exercise program with them, not just for them, but with them. All right. Because again, you need to hear what they're saying. If they're like, they keep telling you like, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, and you put that in there, they're not, you know, after they're like, this person doesn't listen, or they'll do it and they're like, I really don't like this, they're not coming back. Okay. So you need to listen what they like, what they dislike, and don't just have an agenda in mind, right? And then when they're ready to begin the workout, you need to have the ability to effectively learn, you know, like the ability to teach them to learn new skills, right? So they're gonna remember, a lot of times these are new skills for them, and so they're the motor units, the feedback between the brain and the limbs may not be, you know, like what you're normally used to. Again, especially if you've worked with clients before that have experience and you get somebody that has zero experience, it can be a whole different thing. Again, first impressions, right? So if you look healthy, you look clean, you look neat, you know, you're smiling, you got a positive attitude and all those things, you know, people are going to go with their gut response. You know, if they walk in and you're like, oh, I don't know about this guy, or I don't know about this girl, that may be it right then and there, you know, and they'll be nice and, you know, like talk to you a little bit, and they're like, yeah, sure, I'll get back to you and let you know if I want to start, and then you won't see them, right? Again, be on time. I mean, that's crazy that somebody has to tell you that, but if you're going to meet somebody, be on time, be organized, and be ready to go. Right? Don't come running in your office to meet with them and you got stuff trash out. Oh, okay, where's the paperwork I need for you? And, you know, have it ready to go. Be enthusiastic. Again, be interested, care about them, focus on them. Encourage questions, right? So make sure you answer all their questions and make them feel welcome to ask questions, you know, like that they're, you know, don't make them feel, well, I can't believe you didn't know that. That was stupid. You know, there's no stupid questions, right? And give them clear answers. Don't give them a run around. And if you don't know something, say, honestly, I don't know that. Let me look and see if I can figure that out for you. Always conduct yourself appropriately, even when you're not planning to be in the public eye. Because again, you never know what somebody else is watching, right? And again, I mean, it's really how you should live your life. You shouldn't live your life one way, and then when you're out and about, live it a different way, right? Because again, you know, people will see you, and if you're acting stupid, you know, you're out at places acting stupid, and people that come to the gym or think about hiring you see you acting that way, they're not going to, right? All right, come on, let's go to the next slide. All right, so remember, when you've been into places, whether, you know, like you've been to a restaurant or something like that, you know when you've had a good experience, you know when you had a bad experience. So make sure that when people come in to work with you and meet with you, that you're giving them a good customer service experience, okay? Again, verbal communication, speak professionally, right? That doesn't mean you got to use big words and things like that. Again, use clear language that they understand. Don't talk down to them. You know, any of y'all ever been to a doctor that talks down to you? It's frustrating. You know, I hate going to the doctor because they, you know, they'll, you know, if I have something going on, they try to speak to me like, oh, he probably doesn't understand. You know, I understand that stuff and it frustrates me. And, you know, I'm like, I get it. Don't talk to, you know, just clarify. Say, do you understand what this term means? Okay, no, okay, well, let me explain it to you, right? So again, you can teach them up to understand, you know, like the science verbiage and things that we use, but use clear things and then tell them, say, you know, like, all right, so you want to get bigger, right? So we're trying to get muscle growth, right? Hypertrophy is what we call it muscle hypertrophy, right? So if you read anything that says muscle hypertrophy, that's all it means. This means muscle growth, right? So things like that, it's teaching opportunities, right? And it's not like you're talking down to them. You're talking to them in a way that you expect they're going to learn and understand because they're smart human beings, right? So like I said, define terms that they're unfamiliar with. You know, it could be reps, sets, things like that. They may not know. Again, be verbal and visual so that they can build an overall understanding. Again, talk while you demonstrate things, right? So you can talk them through like, okay, I want to keep my elbow straight or I want it slightly bent while I'm doing this with my shoulder. You know, it helps them to build an overall picture of what's going on. Don't be weak and hesitant when you talk. Be confident, right? So show confidence. Don't be too loud or tense, right? So it's firm, confident voice with the right amount of, you know, like volume. Again, you'll know what's appropriate, or you should know what's appropriate. If you don't, I don't know how to help with that. Nonverbal communication. You know, don't sit there with your arms closed off looking at them like you'd rather be somewhere else, right? Everything about you, the way you sit, the way you stand, you know, like your face, everything, like don't have RBF and all those, you know, everything should express like, I want to be here with you and I want to help you, right? So make sure that your body communicates that as well as what you're saying, right? When you're in the investigation stage and you're trying to get information from them, yeah, again, you still want to have good rapport. You want to make, good conversation and things like that. Again, during this time, when they're like, yeah, I know I'm fat and I want to get skinny or whatever, don't have this look like, yeah, I've been here before. Now, this is a new person. These problems are their problems, even though other people may have similar problems. And, again, you're like, okay, I got another person trying to lose weight. Don't treat them like another person trying to lose weight. Everybody that's there has their own journey, how they got where they got, where they want to go, how they want to get where they want to go. They have different struggles that have kept them from doing those things. So don't just treat them like, yeah, I've been here before, right? So gather the information, listen well, and again, respond, right? Don't just dismiss things, try to understand them even if you don't. If you've never been there, just try to put yourself in their shoes, okay? Use investigation, not only learn about their current health and fitness, but understand what they like and dislike. Remember, sometimes there's things that may be really good for them that they dislike, okay? Doesn't mean that you're always going to not do that for them or have them do that. It's just at that time, don't introduce them to okay, we're doing, they're like, I hate burpees, squats, and I hate the row machine. Well, most of your things are going to be burpees, squats, and the row machine. And again, you got to understand they may have had bad experiences in the past. So again, you have the opportunity to give them a good experience with those things, but kind of figure out when it's appropriate to introduce them and how to introduce them if you feel it's necessary to introduce them, okay? So again, listen to them carefully, be as empathetic or sympathetic as possible if you've been through things like that. Again, share those experiences, and again, don't talk over them. Let them say what they say. Have an open mind, and try to put yourself in their shoes, right? Give them your full attention. Don't be playing on your phone or watching other people in the gym. Try to find, when you're first talking to them like that, have an office or someplace where you're not surrounded by lots of people. You want them to open up, right? So that you can really help them. Again, ask questions that help direct them where they need to be going, or redirect if they get off topic, so to speak. Again, appropriate eye contact, proper body language. Take notes if necessary. Sometimes, I don't even know, if they're listing different things that they want to do, like they've got some life goals or something, it may be necessary. Sometimes you're like, okay, I understand what they're wanting and you don't need to, right? So be encouraging while they're talking to you. Paraphrase things so that you can make sure that what they said is what you understood. Ask questions as they go. Okay, so how did that make you feel, or what? What happened next? Reflect on what they told you, and then summarize. At different points of, okay, so this is what you said happened. This is what you'd like to see different, and these are some of the things I talked about helping you with, and okay, right? Again, sometimes you're not sure how to respond to difficult questions. Again, just being around people, knowing how to talk to people, kind of, when just say, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Me as your trainer, what would you expect? What would you like to see from me? Again, say, I don't want to make any of these same mistakes. So, in that situation, what would have made things good for you in that? Because I want to make sure that that's what I do for you, right? Things like that, navigate those things. So when you move in a more active role during the planning stage, again, you want to listen to what they're saying before you make any suggestions, right? And kind of maybe help them or guide them to those things. You know, like, so what do you like to do for conditioning? What type of weight training have you done in the past? What did you like? What did you dislike? You know, let's put this together, right? You know, how fast do you want to hit this goal versus this goal, and things like that. You know, so you set the goals, you figure out you know, like planning of setting those goals, and then you look over the exercise program. You know, so this is what we'll be doing the next couple weeks. I mean, is this, you know, like, this looks good to you? You're interested in this? This is, you know, on path to your goals. Is there anything you want to adjust? You know, and again, we can try this the first day, and if you're not liking it, we can make some adjustments, right? Don't have to, you know, be concrete. Again, SMART goals. All right, so again, when somebody says they wanted to be toned, or they want to be lean, or they want to be fit or hot or something like that, specifically, what does that mean to them? Those are very ambiguous, right? So we want to know, you know, like, okay, well, you know, they've got like 20 pounds in mind they want to lose. All right, well, you know, is that just 20 pounds, or is that just 20 pounds of fat? You know, again, do they want to lose 20 pounds of fat and also gain more muscle? Or, yeah, I mean, so net, are they trying to lose 20, or just, you know, those things, right? They figure that out, get specifics. Again, figure out ways to measure all the goals that they want to hit, okay? Sometimes looking hot's a little hard to measure, right? So what does that mean to them? You know, like, they'll have like a certain body fat percentage. They're going to put on a certain amount of muscle. You know, they're going to lose so many dress sizes. What is it? Okay. Again, are they realistically attainable? We've talked about this. You know, if you don't have a certain body type, sometimes there's, you know, like, you see a celeb or somebody and you're like, all right, yeah. I want to look like this, right? And you're like, but that's not possible. You know, like, you're not built that way. You know, you'd have to go see plastic surgeon or something to have these things changed. You know, that's not realistic if you're just working with me. You know, we can't do that. You know, but this is what we can do. This is what we're working with, and this is where we can vastly improve and do this, right? So help them figure out realistic goals, you know, and realistic timing. Oh yeah, I want to lose like 60 pounds by this holiday, which is coming up in 2 weeks. Well, that's not realistic. Okay. You know, goals need to be relevant, right? So they're like, oh, yeah, I want to be a professional basketball player. And you're like, you're 75 years old and you're 5'2". How's, you know, and you also told me you want to bulk up and do this and do that. You know, these things all don't work together, right? This goes beyond your abilities, or this is not jiving up. You know, it's like, oh, I want to put on, you know, I want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I also want to run like, you know, like full, like, Ironman triathlons. Well, those two things don't work together. Okay. You know, we can do one and then do the other, you know. Again, have estimated timelines, but also let them know that depending on things like, you know, if they go through times when they're sick, or there's, you know, like, sometimes things will move fast, sometimes things will move slow, sometimes things will be on hold, you know, like if they get in a car accident and they're injured for a while, or, you know, I mean, again, they need to be able to be adjusted depending on life, right? Have process and product goals, right? So process goals, you know, hey, you know, by this time we're going to add this many more reps to what you're doing and things like that. We're going to add a few more exercises. You know, we're going to have product goals such as, I'd like to see you lift this much weight by this time on this exercise, and so on and so forth. Or we're going to, you know, be on the scale and hopefully see this much loss, or, you know, we're going to do body fat measurements, whatever. Okay. So again, you know, there should be a good mix of both, right? Again, there's emotional health that consider when you're doing your SMART goals. You know, how are they feeling about everything? Are they feeling better about themselves, about the workout, and things like that? Personal trainer should Be sure to include process and product goals both, right? Again, we talked about, dealing with emotional health, resting heart rate during submax workloads, trying to figure out, if they're working at 60%, 80%, things like that. Muscular strength, endurance, balance, skill level, or flexibility. Again, just depends on the person and what their goals are, and what they need to work on. Again, you can do walking tests, you can do submax running tests, you can do max running tests if you have the equipment and the expertise to do so. And they're cleared to do those things. Any medical indicators that you need to be aware of during their exercise based on things that they have going on. Body weight, body size, and body comp goals as well. Let's go to the next slide. All right. Once goals are clear, personal trainer and client can then discuss ways of achieving those goals, right? So how do they want to go about doing it? Again, sometimes because of the things they like and dislike to do, it may not be a real clear, straight path to where they're going, right? Because you want them to adhere, yet you want to help them to their goals. And sometimes adhering and goals don't quite line up, right? So be aware of that. And the ultimate goal for every client is adherence more than actually getting to their fitness goals, because if they don't adhere, they'll never get there. Okay. So we got to help them figure out programs that they can live with on a day by day, week by week type of thing. Okay. And so just getting them there, getting into the routine, making it part of their life is the most important part. Okay, and there's not a right or wrong way of doing that. Every person is different. You got to figure out how to work with them on that. The programs need to be simple enough that they can do them, but also they need to have some complexity to them, so that they're learning new skills. That's the thing. People, you don't want to overwhelm them with such difficult exercises. They're like, I'll never get this figured out, but you don't want to make it so simple. They're like, okay, this is boring and stupid and I've done this before and it didn't work. Okay. There's got to be a good mix of both, like been there, done that stuff. I can do this. I just need to get stronger or better at it. And then there's the new skills that they acquire while they're doing things as well. Okay. Again, you want your relationship to be long-term. This is a dating relationship, not a let's go on a couple dates and then I'll move on to somebody else type thing. And again, the end goal of this relationship is it will end, right? You don't want to work with them for years and years, unless they're hiring you as like a bodybuilding coach or a strength coach or something. That's different. But when you're trying to help somebody to get, where they can take care of themselves, the goal is to help them, at max, maybe a couple of years. And I say at max, depending on the person, where they're coming from. But there needs to be a point at which they're on their own taking care of themselves. Okay. And again, you want them to take more and more of the lead, and again, show more and more proficiency in being able to direct themselves where they want to go, create their own program, and so on and so that when they leave, sort of like a parent with the kids, when they leave the nest, they're ready to take off, right? Again, fitness facilities have a lot of equipment people are not familiar with. You see a lot of people in there. Yeah. Here's the thing. People always visualize on the folks that are in there that are in like great shape, right? So they see them, they see that they're confident, they know what they're doing, they think that can't be me, right? They don't look around at all the other folks that are not in shape doing who knows what. That's what they see. They see equipment they don't understand. And they think, okay, that guy, that girl, they understand this stuff. That's why they look, they can do this. I can't, right? So again, take them in there and basically de-scary what it is. You know, it's sort of like taking kids in their room. They think there's the boogeyman in there. You show them there's no boogeyman, right? You take them around, show them how simple and easy things are. Make it simple and easy for them. Explain what you're doing, why you're doing it. Like the more you educate them, everything gets less scary, okay? So, you know, help them, like even like what to wear in the gym. You know, sometimes people are like, you know, well, I want to look what, you know, like what I know what I'm doing, but I don't want to look inappropriate, or I don't, you know, I don't feel comfortable wearing that type of, you know, tell them, like, say, hey, you know, this is normal gym stuff. You can wear this. If you want to wear something more baggy, wear something like this. And, you know, it kind of hides. And, you know, when you feel more comfortable, if you want to go with all spandex at some point, go with all spandex at some point. But, you know, like, let's help you be comfortable, right? Teach them etiquette, you know, like not to hog machines, or not, you know, like to wipe things down, and, you know, like all those things, like how to spot, or if somebody asks you to spot what's it, you know, like get them gym ready, right? You don't want them to be like, it's a Grom, it's a newbie, they don't know what to do. Right. While you're evaluating them, look at their daily exercise stuff that they're doing, you know, with you, or if they work without you, and see if there's any adjustments need to be done. Always reassess them every now and again. So if you're working on like heart rate based stuff, or you're working on like rep, you know, like max rep based stuff, and, you know, working at percentages, you got to know if those things have changed. You know, exercise challenges and adherence, you know, like, okay, what's making it hard for you to come? You know, what seems to make it easier? Try to, you know, do things or figure out things in their routine to make things easier and less obstacles. Modify program to provide more realistic and challenging stimulus, right? They're going to get stronger and get in better shape. They're going to get more cardiovascular. You can't just keep them doing the same thing, right? So you got to add weights, add reps, add time, add speed, whatever it is. If their adherence is faltering, again, figure out what that is. Talk with them, figure that out, and figure what you can do to fix that. Right? So again, summary, the 4 stages, right? So rapport, investigation, planning, action. Just make sure you're taking care of your clients on all 4 stages, right? And again, adherence is more important than getting to the goals, because again, if they don't adhere, they'll never get to the goals. And if you can get them to adhere, it may take longer to get to the goals, but at least they're coming, they can get to the goals, right? Help them define those goals and redefine them, because sometimes those things change as well. All right. Okay, guys, that's it. Any questions, just let me know, and we'll go to the next chapter on the next one.